Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers, sisters, viewers, friends of Iqra TV. I'm your host Iqbal Bana. Welcome to another edition of Real Talk. Today I want to talk about a subject that affects every family in this country and everywhere in the world, and that is the subject of dementia and Alzheimer's. Every family will have somebody either directly or indirectly in their families, and they will know of people, either friends or families, who've suffered from this illness of dementia as well. So I want to talk about this subject because I've got some very, very eminent guests today. One who's written a book called The Disappearing Partner, and that is about dementia, and her and her partner and how they've coped with it and how she has coped with it as well. But all issues, what is the awareness level within our community about dementia, and how do people cope, and how do the institutions respond to some of the challenges which are faced by members of the community, and how do they respond to families who are crying out for support and help, both medical and otherwise. But before I do that, can I today, the first day today, it's been announced that Diba Malik, one of my colleagues, a deputy lieutenant from Bradford, who is very well known and highly respected, has been officially announced as His Majesty's representative for the county of West Yorkshire. She is the first Asian Muslim woman in the whole of the UK to have been appointed to this post. I am a deputy lieutenant and have been for a very long time, and the role of the Lord Lieutenant is to be the representative of His Majesty, the monarch, the king or queen of the country in West Yorkshire, representing the king in our case now, in events and functions that take place within West Yorkshire, where members of the royal family need to be in attendance. So many congratulations to Adiba Malik, well deserved. Professor Adiba Malik, I learned today as well. I've known her for many years, and I think she'll be an amazing representative of His Majesty the King in the county of West Yorkshire and on a national level as well. So again, congratulations to Adiba, well done and well deserved. And I as a DL look forward to working with her as we will move forward into 2025 onwards. So let me get back. I have with me two eminent people. One is Gupinder from Leeds, from Touchstone, and then Sabah Khan, who sat next to her. And Sabah has written this book. It's called The Disappearing Partner. Inshallah will come up. You won't be able to see it now on screen because, oh yes, you can see it. But this is a story of her journey, who passed away recently at the age of, mashallah, at the age of 81, who also had a form of dementia. So what is dementia? How does it affect people? And how do people respond to it? How do they cope with it? So I'm going to ask Sabah as well to explain what drove her to write this book. Because by writing this book, she's helping thousands of people who are suffering silently with this illness within their families, with people in their families who are suffering from dementia. And dementia comes in different forms, I have just learned. So we'll talk about that as well. So Sabah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi, welcome. Rupinder, Sasrikal, nice to see you. Thank you for coming here. You're both from Leeds.
Yes.
So, but you lived in Bradford, so you know this area quite well. But thank you for joining me. So I've not had the chance to read the whole of the book, but I know, I've heard extracts from it. Now, you've had to go through sort of two episodes of suffering from dementia. One is your mother, who had a different form of dementia. And then you have your partner, Rashid, who's here actually in the studio, where he's watching from the other screen, also has suffered from dementia as well. So what drove you to write the book itself?
I think once the diagnosis of dementia happened, there was a whole load of emotions. It was more like what do I do now? Is this the end? How are we going to cope? And because it was during lockdown, all this happened. So was developing his dementia. There were tiny little things that were happening, and in the book I've described it as it's a thief that came in the night and started taking little bits away from my husband, and it's little bits of his personality, little bits of his skills, little bits of his things that he enjoys are slowly disappearing. And by calling it the disappearing partner, he's there but parts of him are
missing.
Not there. Yeah, parts of him are missing. I remember coming home once and I could smell some burning hairdryer and dried the carpet. He dried it so much that it burned.
Oh, right.
And there was a patch he wasn't able to understand. Right, I need to stop. I need to stop. And there were things that he was forgetting, losing his keys, losing other things. And when the episode, it still took a while for him to get there, but when he arrived, yeah, it was a different look. Going home, he stopped at a giveaway, and far in the distance you could see car headlights. And he's just that blank look, and he was looking, and as the car approached near us, he pulled out. And at that point, I thought, right, okay, we need to get the assessment done. And the assessment process in itself was such a huge challenge. You know, we needed to go to the GP first. The GP did his assessment, and we had a really good GP, and immediately said, right, okay, we're going to send you for an assessment from a psychiatrist. And that process, when they did the first assessment in 2019, they said to me, he's got cognitive impairment. Yeah, they didn't tell me anything else.
Right.
He's got cognitive impairment.
Now, you're a social worker.
Yeah.
So you will understand some of these words.
I was being trained at the time
Oh, right,
as a social worker. Yeah.
But somebody like ordinary person like me, you know, we wouldn't understand what cognitive would mean.
Yeah. And that's it, when they said it's cognitive impairment, it's not dementia, and I thought, what does it mean? So again, it was going back and looking for, you know, finding out what I needed to do, because they didn't give me any strategies of how I need to support him or anything, so no information was given to us. And then after that come lockdown, Rashid ends up with a UTI, not getting better, ends up in hospital. And that was, the UTI was the trigger. It gave him delirium, which speeded up everything. Within 7 days, the dementia had settled in.
I mean, you know, obviously, when you mentioned a few things there, you know, obviously, it makes you, it sounds like a sense of humour, but it is quite serious, isn't it?
It's a very serious. People don't realise that dementia, Alzheimer's, is a terminal illness. It will eventually kill the person, and it will steal everything from them, their personality, their ability to walk, to talk, to understand things. It's a very, very cruel illness. I don't know whether you want to expand a bit more on that.
I was going to ask, can you give us a bit more information about the dementia itself?
Yeah, it starts off with very small pieces, as Sabah said. And nobody else from outside will realize that what's happening. So it's the people, the family who live with that person will start to notice that small things, there's a change happening. Things are, you know, being misplaced, they can't find things. So I think family has to be on the board to find out, to see what's happening. So if they realize that, you know, they keep things where they shouldn't be, like putting keys in the fridge instead of putting where they should be, and small things to start notice. And then if you ask them who came yesterday, told them someone so and so has been to house, and they ask the same questions again and again. So it looks like as if you've told them once, twice, and they're forgetting it again. So that means something is wrong, and they need to be tested to make sure.
I mean, obviously, I've heard and I've seen people who have that sort of dementia or Alzheimer's. We'll come to that in a minute, but you know, that, you know, you tell them something and they ask you the question within 5-10 minutes again. The same question, and then 5-10 minutes later the question again. But I mean, I presume you have family, so boys and girls. Are they older? I mean, they must be.
Yeah, I was just going to say, my boys are married, I'm a grandma, I've got grandkids, but my boys didn't notice.
Right.
Yeah, it's who is with them 24/7, and you know something is wrong, but you can't put your finger on it. You see a personality change, and then you think, is it stress? Is it something else? Is it something that I've said? Is it something I've done? And Govinda was saying, you start putting things away and you repeat it. That comes so slowly.
You don't realize.
Sometimes miss it.
Right.
And I think, alhamdulillah, I was able to pick it up because my mum had dementia, so I could see some of the signs that, you know, that were showing that he's developing dementia, and it was me being proactive and going back saying, he needs an assessment, he needs an assessment. Had I not supported my mum through her dementia, and I didn't pick up mums because mum didn't live 24/7 with me. She was with my sister, and my sister picked it up first, and then, you know, we all got involved. But it's so subtle, it just sneaks in very quietly, and then just starts stealing.
It could happen to somebody at any age, couldn't it?
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily have to be an older person, is it?
No.
But usually somebody over the age of 50, I presume?
I think within our culture, Iqbal Bhai, everyone says, Bura peki bimari, it's an old age thing.
Yeah.
It isn't. We've now got, I think, youngest in the world is 17, isn't it? 17-year-old.
Yeah.
I think in the UK somebody's 23, 43. You know,
Right.
Younger
There's
people
no
are
age.
being diagnosed with dementia. They're the young people's dementia group,
Yeah,
isn't
we've
there?
got a young people dementia in Leeds,
Oh, right.
which are on. Yeah.
Right.
So there is a research that yes, young people can have dementia.
I mean, I will come back to you, Gurpinder, because obviously you were saying that the assessment process, you were lucky you had a good doctor.
Yeah.
So the doctor referred you fairly quickly. I mean, is that still the case now that people are having to wait quite long?
I've heard people are waiting 12, 15 months
Wow.
before they're getting the assessment. And you've got to remember as well, when the assessment process is happening, the person that's got the dementia is in denial.
Mm.
And I remember going with Rashid and having discussions, and I sat quietly, and then when he'd say something, I would say, well, actually, this happened. And he'd, no, I didn't. And even the bit about the carpet burning, I still remember Rashid got really sort of upset and said, no, I didn't do it on purpose. You know, I didn't do it, she's just saying it. And then the psychiatrist explained, you know, had you been thinking clearly, you would have stopped when you smelt the first burning bit. It's the brain plays tricks and they can't, you know, process the information.
Yeah.
But, you know, going and having that assessment for somebody like Rashid, he was a forefront of everything, businessman, doing things, you know, a entrepreneur, managing thousands and thousands of pounds, dealing with things, now struggles to tell the time.
Yeah. I mean, when I met him before we came on live, he told me he used to run a very, very well-known, popular Asian food place in Leeds. I mean, I used to go to that place regularly, so I was surprised. But I mean, this is an illness that affects anybody and everybody. It doesn't matter whether you're a rich person, poor person, you know, highly educated, not educated. I mean, obviously, Gurpinder, I mean, you come from Touchstone, the organisation that is a support group, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, you probably know more about this than I will ever learn, right?
Yeah.
Is there any particular type of person that is affected by, you know, dementia? Is it affects us anybody and everybody?
Yeah.
As I said.
Yeah, dementia, it can happen to anybody. It doesn't look at caste. It doesn't look at religion.
Right.
It doesn't look at your age even. So it can happen to anybody. Anybody, and that's what it can be affected to anyone.
Right,
It
right.
doesn't discriminate.
And so it doesn't discriminate, as you said.
No.
You know, against
No
anybody. It could be white,
discrimination.
brown, pink, blue.
Any color, any age, any, you know, yeah.
So just coming back to you, I mean, obviously you said, you know, you noticed that Rashid was having these symptoms at that time, but you had children who who didn't notice it. So when did they realize that, you know, their father?
They're seeing it more now.
Right.
Even when he was first diagnosed, they're in denial. It's the father that, you know, they don't want to see the father struggling. And I will now ring them up and say, Abu needs extra support. This has happened. Rash has become very emotional as well.
Right.
Now, and like on the event,
Yeah,
you
he
know,
almost
when there were
tears.
psychiatrists there, he was speaking, Claire from Carers Leeds were there, and I was looking at Rashid and I could see he was crying. I could
Right.
see he was crying.
So you had an event at the weekend.
Yes, at the weekend,
Yeah.
we had the book launch at Hamara Centre,
on
and
Saturday, yeah.
I could see him, he was upset. Then at the end, we called him up on the stage when the whole event finished, and I said, you want to talk a bit about the groups you go to? And he went, yeah. I said, tell them what, he said, oh, it's nice things. And we asked one more question and he started crying.
Right.
And I could see people in the audience were crying at that point as well. My son, who was there, but my niece, they were crying. And now when I asked him yesterday, I said, what made you cry? And he says, when?
Right, yeah. It's forgetful. And I know. I mean, I know
Done.
the what you mentioned about the carpeting thing. I've got a friend whose wife sadly passed away a few years ago, and she was having dementia. And one of the things what happened to her was that she was making tea, desi style.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's to boil the water.
Boil everything
and
together.
Yeah.
And she'd completely forgot to turn the cooker off.
Yeah.
Right? And she put her hand there.
Yeah.
And it was really serious for a while.
Yeah.
She really burnt her skin.
You see, when they because they've got a habit of doing that, and they'll continue to do that. So even at night, if they want to have a drink, they'll come down and on the gas and make a drink. So it's like proper Indian tea they want to have. And it's a risk because if the family is all sleeping, they'll leave the gas on or burn, so it can be very dangerous.
It's not just that. I've got a friend who, she's a GP and her mother-in-law has had dementia. She put bleach to make a cup of tea.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she put bleach and she was making a cup, she poured bleach in, she was making a cup of tea. And she's now in a care home, can't get out of bed.
Time can come that they need proper full-time supervision.
Yeah, I know, because my friend, he could not leave the house.
Yes.
He was there 24 hours to look after his wife. And when he needed to go out, get somebody else to be there to sit with her,
be your family member,
to make sure she doesn't do anything that would put her in danger, you see. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people, I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who will either know directly or indirectly, either members of the family or some people within the the extended family network, who will be suffering from these diseases of dementia, Alzheimer's, and they'll be going through this problem very difficult, silently as well. So the book, obviously, we'll come to the book, Sabah. This is your journey and your sort of struggles, etc. So this is now available on Amazon, isn't it?
It's available on Amazon, and the whole purpose of writing this is to raise the awareness that dementia doesn't just affect the person, it affects the family, the carer. And one of the things that I've been discussing with Gobinder is that within our South Asian community, we've got very little support for dementia. And one of the things, because of language barriers, etc., one of the things that we want to do is set up an emergency South Asian helpline. And we're approaching people, aren't we? We're knocking on doors, we're having conversations. And it's important that everybody has these conversations about dementia in your home, at work, raise your awareness. If you've got a family member and you suspect they've got dementia or it's early onset, get them assessed, because the quicker they get the medication, there is no cure, there's no cure for it, but it could slow it down. And you can then have strategies. And with Rashid, alhamdulillah, before his dementia was diagnosed, all he would do is sit and watch television. It wasn't socializing. Now we've got him going to groups, now we've got him doing word search, and he religiously every single day will do his word search. And he reads his Fajr namaz, he's forgotten all the rest.
All right.
And if you're reading with him, you have to read it loud so he can remember, but Fajr namaz without fail, he'll get up and read that. And it is, you've got to keep them stimulated. You get them to groups. It's not that he'll come home and I'll say, what have you done? He said, they were just talking. But that is so important. That is so important. Stimulation, getting out, exercising, reducing sugar, as we've been told. Sugar massively affects.
Oh, does it?
Yes.
All right.
It makes you feel more angry. So
sugar?
So there's some types of dementia that you
trigger.
will, I mean, with any illness, I think what it is you carve sugar, you want to eat sugar, and the more you eat, the angry you get.
All right.
So it can be worse.
Well, I'm glad I don't eat too much sugars. I get all these mithais and I just pass them on to somebody else. Because I don't like mithai. I don't like mithais from India and Pakistan anyway.
Oh my God, Rashid is a mithai. He's like a worm. He loves it. Yeah. He'd much rather have sweet dish than have the main meal.
All right.
But we are working on
his motto is that if I can exercise, then I can eat. Then it's all right.
Yeah, as long as Well, obviously, this is a really interesting sort of debate and discussion. And I'm sure as I say, people who are watching this program will either know of, have experienced this, and have gone through the trauma of supporting somebody within their own family, or extended family, or friends. Like I said, I had a friend, I still have a friend who's gone through this as well. So if you want to share your thoughts, your concerns, and particularly support network. Like you said, support networks are very important, aren't they? And we don't have support networks, particularly in our community, right? So the support network that you've got, are they non-Asian support network? I mean, Touchstone is the group. You've set them up, have they?
Touchstone is the only one
For
group
South Asia.
within Leeds
Right.
which runs a South Asian dementia group.
Oh, so it's specifically South
It's
Asian.
specifically South Asian,
Right, okay.
and it's specifically for people with dementia and their carers.
Right.
So we support both person who's got dementia and the carers as well.
Right.
So we run a weekly session, which
called
is called
Hamari Yade.
Hamari Yade.
Yeah.
My
Hamari
memories.
Yade.
Yeah.
Hamari Yade.
Yeah, Hamari Yade.
So it's my memories.
Yeah. And where are these sessions held in Leeds?
So we run them from Leeds. So Touchstone is based in Hare Hills Avenue.
Oh, Hare Hills.
Yeah, local, local.
Right.
And that's where we are based, where we
All
run
right,
our
excellent.
clinic.
No, that's good. But I mean, obviously, this is an issue that affects all communities. As we said, doesn't discriminate against people of color or non-color, faith, no faith. Whether you're Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, whatever you are, it's going to affect people in that community. So if you've gone through this or you're aware of this and you want to share your thoughts, you've seen the number on the screen. Please phone in 01274214299. We'd really welcome your thoughts, your ideas, and your concerns about the support services that are not available at the moment, and what you would like to see develop as part of the support mechanism for people who are going through this process. So, as I say, we're going for a break. Go and enjoy your chai, coffee, faluda, whatever it is that you enjoy, and we'll see you soon, very soon after the break. But think about this. I'm sure people know somebody, either themselves or indirectly somebody, who are going through these challenges. Don't suffer silently. As Sabah said at the beginning, lots of people are suffering silently. We have this book now. It will give you a lot of thoughts and ideas. I will see you soon. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.